Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Tuesday, the 20th day of June, 2023, Tuesday of the 11th week of the year, the 11th week in Ordinary Time. Back in Raleigh, where it is raining today. A little bit's going to rain, so I think all week, on and off. The rains have come in most of this week. At least it is not as hot and humid as it was a couple of days ago, or the other days, or as it is in the Midwest today. So we do have some relief from that, although it is cloud cover and rainy a little bit this morning. But coming to you from the little wooded area that's by the parish offices, and off to my left and perhaps your right as you're looking at this, there's a little nuthatch box that we've set up for our nuthatches. So on this Tuesday of the 11th week of the year, letter to the Corinthians, Paul's letter to the Corinthians continues. And what's interesting here is that what it reveals is that there was this desire by Paul, and it may have come from the church itself, but the church in Jerusalem needed help. It needed support. It needed money. And of course it probably would, because it is facing a lot of difficulties and opposition with the with Jewish authorities and things like that, and trying to set itself up and what have you. And so a collection is requested. A collection is put out to all the churches in the Eastern Mediterranean to kind of contribute to the welfare of the church in Jerusalem. And that's what Paul is talking about today. And I guess that the Corinthians were a tad bit stingy in giving to this collection, but the people in Macedonia, again, which is to the north and to the east of Greece proper, we're not. They were generous, and so Paul is kind of using their example to kind of tell the Corinthians, okay, dig deeper in your pockets, because the church in Jerusalem needs your help, and you better start doing that. So whenever we think that, again, collections and church and money and things like that are just something that's new or whatever it is, or in the Middle Ages, nope, it comes from the very beginning, it comes from our very origins. It can asking for finances to help each other, and it wasn't just that the church in Jerusalem could be, living high on the hog or whatever it was. It was because the church in Jerusalem needed to survive. And so Paul creates this wonderful part of his letter, because, again, the letter to the Corinthians is not one letter. It is a series of letters that are massed together at a particular time that Paul was writing. And so these are perhaps two letters that are there that are trying to tell the Corinthians to give to Jerusalem, because it needs help, it needs support. And I guess also to spur them on, another one of the extra apostles, like Paul's an extra apostle, Barnabas is an extra apostle, and now Titus becomes another extra apostle. Again, Phoebe will be an extra apostle. All these people who kind of come in after the 12. But Titus is now recommended to the church in Corinth as somebody who's going to help Corinth to understand its the necessity to be charitable, to be loving, to be kind, to be giving. And again, it's because the church needs the support of one another, and joining together this great mission of the spread of Christianity, again, was always Paul's aim. It wasn't just the creation of separate churches who would live and act independently of one another, but the sense in which these communities of faith together would help to support and would together further and move the Christian movement to where it needs to go. In the gospel today, wait a minute, I know what it is. It is the it's about love. Okay, sorry. It's about love, because again, this is all the. This is the continuing of the preaching, the continuing of the great sermon that Jesus gives, the Sermon on the Mount, which is kind of the core of Matthew 5. And Jesus basically talks about love and raises a very interesting kind of admonition from Jewish law, and that was that you shall love your neighbor, but you shall hate your enemy. And Jesus destroys that by saying, loving your neighbor, anybody can do that. Again, the sinners and pagans all do that. Horrible, awful people will love their brother and sister, will love their family and things like that. But the thing that makes the Jesus movement, the thing that makes being a follower of Jesus or a believer in Jesus different, is when you dare to love those who do not seem capable of loving you back, or who are seemingly to be unlovable, or who have hurt you or have put you in pain. Again, the core of love in Jesus's preaching is what matters. Again, if love is not what we are pursuing, if love is not what we are about, then we are not followers of Jesus. We are not followers of the Christ movement. We are not Christians. And that's the long and short of it. Surely corrections need to happen, and people need to find their way back who have lost their way, and all those kinds of things. But if love does not crown that, if love does not motivate that, if love does not move that, then it is not of God. It is not of God. And Jesus gives us this wonderful way of looking at this, and how we must be people who strive to be better and deeper than what our world and our society and even what Jewish custom said was appropriate when it comes to our relationships with one another. Again, love is at the center of who and what we are, is what we witness to the world, is what attracts the world to us and allows the world to see that there is something that is new and wonderful and glorious in being a believer. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.